Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, I want to discuss the current we're gonna discuss current pro wrestling. And before we get into the video, please give this a thumbs up. Let's get a bunch of thumbs up, over 10 thumbs up, and let's smash this video. I want to discuss the current pro wrestling, current modern day pro wrestling, and this is going to be a bunch of topics, and I don't know how long this video is going to be. And I think we're going to discuss a wide variety of topics. And honestly, man, it is like the current pro wrestling isn't even bad. I know a lot of people, they like, even for me, like, I grew up in the earlier days, like, not this shit, but like, with John Cena and these guys. Like, I grew up in that era, like Randy Orton, Triple. Like, I grew up in that era, and you know what? Like, I see a lot of people. They they don't like current day pro wrestling. They don't like modern day pro wrestling. Um, First of all, like, I think for the most part, let's get this out the way. Current day WWE, they have great talent. They have like, their talent is so good. It's better. It's better than in ring wise. It's better than before, like in the past, right? So that's that. But WWE, Vince McMahon, they just don't know how to book it to make it entertaining for a 3 hour Monday Night Raw, this show, that show. But there are other wrestling companies out there like AEW and Impact Wrestling, NW. Like, unfortunately, NWA right now is pretty much out of business or whatever. I don't know, man. NWA is really sinking right now, but they were popping with NWA Power. They were show Power, but like, I just see a lot of people down with current modern day pro wrestling. And one of the things you usually see is people talk about the characters. Now, I'm gonna give my insight into characters. So people say, like, "Oh, it's just matches, wrestling, flips, and no characters." Now, while this may be true, the fact of the matter is that in wrestling, especially WWE, there's been a wide variety of characters that have already been used. It's very hard to be unique. Like, I think what Roman Reigns is doing in WWE right now, as a tribal chief, that's pretty unique. But if you look at anything else, everything else would be probably like just a repeat, rinse, wash, repeat. And like, you look at Dolph Ziggler, people compare him to Shawn Michaels, and they're just like, he's a Shawn Michaels ripoff. So even if you have a character, and if it's even remotely similar, people just gonna be like, "Wow, you're a ripoff of this guy and that guy." And I don't know, man. It's just like, you could do like a dead man. Undertaker's a dead man. You look at fucking, like, I don't even know, man. You just like a zombie or some shit, like, and you're this guy, you're a rip off of that guy, and that shit's already been done, and this gimmick has already been used, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like the reason why there's less characters in today is because, just like, a lot of the ideas have been used already, or people, they don't want to be a rip off of someone else. They don't want to rip off this character, because obviously the dead man, that's Undertaker, or you fucking, or the Animal Batista. Like, you guys know what I mean. Like, and people make fun of Dolph Ziggler because he's a rip off. And look, Dolph Ziggler, like, I don't like him. I don't like him, not because he's a ripoff of Shawn Michaels. It's just, he's stealing shit. But I'm fine with Dolph Ziggler, but yeah, and I don't hate him, not because he's a fucking Shawn Michaels ripoff or this or that. Like, but you know what I mean. So that's that with like gimmicks and shit. When it comes to flips, like this one, I just don't understand. I seriously don't understand when it comes to flips. People are like, wow, there's more flips and less psychology. Well, what about when there was more psychology and less flips? Like, did you care then? Like, what's the difference? Who cares? And like, honestly, like for me, I'm like, all right. So for me, I like both in ring and storylines, right? I'm not gonna bitch and complain if a match has too many flips. I'm not gonna bitch complain if there's too many storylines, this or that. Like I don't understand why people are so upset with today, where it's like, why, Haley, why are you upset that this talented guy is doing a lot of flips and this and that? Like, why are you upset? Why, first of all, why does it bother you? Second of all, why do you care so much about psychology? I just don't understand. Like nowadays, there are a lot of talent that are really fucking talented. They're really good inside the ring. They could do this. They can do that. Like, why do you care? Like, I understand. Like for me, like I understand. Like if you're talking about that, there's no storylines, right? You know what I mean? That there's no storylines. But this isn't a storyline. Like this is a match. So honestly, for me, like flips and dives, that shit's really entertaining. If you're not gonna do that, I'm not gonna bitch and moan. But I don't see the reason to complain. I don't see the reason to complain. Why are you gonna complain about Phoenix, Ray Phoenix and AEW doing X, Y, and Z? Like, why are you gonna complain? That's bound to be a great match. He can have like a fucking 5 star with pretty much anyone. One of the greatest luchadors in the business right now. Why the fuck are you gonna complain? It's bound to have a great match. But for me, as you know where I stand, I don't care. Um, I'm for both. I'm for both storylines. I'm for flips and knives. I'm for great ring matches. But people act like you can't have a great match. You can only have a great a storyline, and that's it. Like people don't care about matches. Like I don't know. You know, people are saying that, oh, the reason why the people aren't tuning into wrestling is because there's no characters, there's no larger than life characters, and they're just doing flips and dives now. And honestly, people aren't. They're just not tuning into WWE. And the reason why they're not tuning into WWE is because they grew out of WWE. And the reason why they grew out of WWE is because it's fucking childish. If you like, and people like they want to say that, but then they don't realize that people love Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio did all these high flying moves and this and that. So I don't understand where people got it, where it's like, oh man, like he did a flip and dive. That's people are only doing flips and dives. Business is going like wrestling is dead or some shit. Like who cares? Like they don't care, but like they're just trying to have a good time and enjoy the show. But the reason why they tuned out of wrestling, they mainly tuned out of WWE, and that's because it's childish. For that, WWE needs to change their product. But obviously, I've spoken a lot about that. But modern day wrestling isn't bad, honestly. Like for me, I'm they're like SmackDown is better than Raw. SmackDown has Roman Reigns, and he's killing it for the modern day WWE SmackDown show. I enjoy AEW. I'm trying to watch more of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I have to go on to Roku because now they got the new Roku shit. I'm trying to watch Impact, but if they don't got like Kenny Omega or some shit, like Impact needs a big name. Honestly, that's what's hurting them. NWA unfortunately is going out of is just done right now. I don't know. People don't like Ring of Honor. That's fine, but honestly, for me as a whole, like modern day pro wrestling isn't even bad. Like you can, I just like for me, I don't, I can't even judge whether wrestling is just unpopular anymore because, like people said, like people say, especially with the young crowd. So that this would hurt more of AEW, but the young crowd is they're cutting cable and they're streaming stuff, so you can't really judge like the rating, like, especially for AEW. Like, you can't judge the ratings, whether people are watching when they're cutting cable and they're streaming. And you know what I mean? Like, a lot of young people aren't watching cable at all whatsoever. So you can't really, I don't know, you just can't really judge. Like, I mean, I'd figure wrestling isn't popular, honestly. But for that, I just say that it's just WWE is not popular. I think that AEW eventually is going to get to a point where it can be popular. They just need that mainstream media attention. That what they're doing with, like, they're bringing in Shaq and shit. Like, they continue that, and then they continue doing what they're doing. They can be good because they got a lot of cool stuff that they're doing that I think that old wrestling fans, they can bring back the young old the wrestling fans that are like in the age demo where, what is it, 18 to 49, like where they're like 25 to 30. I think they can bring back some young they can bring young people in, honestly. If you just show your friends AEW and stuff like that, that they could do that. But I like modern, like I love modern day wrestling, to be honest. I do also miss the nostalgic old wrestling, but I don't know, man. I think a lot of the modern pro wrestling, it gets a lot of hate, and I think that people are connecting that to like Monday Night Raw and stuff like that, but I mean, that's not the current talent. That's just booking. Like, that's just Vince McMahon, whatever the fuck he's doing. But like current modern day pro wrestling has a lot of talented young talent that I like. A lot of people like, and it's not. I like. It's just not their fault that the show sucks for them and this and that. Like, and again, like I said, in terms of characters, it character like it's just very hard to come up with a current character, like a new out of the box character, and not repeat the same old trend and shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. That's just my take on the current, like the state of current pro wrestling, honestly. So I think I'm just gonna end it right there and not babble on for too long. Save some content for a new video, but that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you saw in the video. Please leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, turn on the notification bell on, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Later.